Hey everybody, welcome back. More CALLOUS Draft League Round 2, or rather Week 2 action. And this is a continuation of a series that not only did we cover in the draft, but we already started covering the games as well. We already saw Zakaru against BGC, and this is from that same draft. We have ThisGuyMuks on the red team, a teammate of BGC, and I mean, to me, ignorant American, it's Pimmelbude or Pimmelbude. I looked it up one time and I already forget it's like Pimmelbude or something like that in German. Don't look it up because it doesn't mean anything appropriate. But I'm not going to even just try to do the German pronunciation. He's just going to be Pimmelbude, or just, how about Pimmel? Easy. Just Mux versus Pimmel for purposes of this matchup. But that's who's playing on the top side on this alt CDL Roquentin. I don't know why he can't just make an alt where his name is Steve or something that someone like me can easily roll off the tongue. But alas, here we are. So, it is 1-0 favoring the green team coming into this. And obviously red trying to get on the board and get some points out of this draft. So here we go. Mux will be on the bottom and Pimmel on the top. Glalie and Regirock. And they're both comfortable with it, so it's going to be a spike in exchange for a lot of damage, and then it's going to be toxic in exchange for death. So is the spike and the toxic worth the entire Pokemon? Fantastic question. Don't know if this is great, though. Well, certainly not with a crit back, but I don't even know that it had to be a crit there. I think there's plenty of scenarios where Regirock clicks counter, clicks explosion. A lot of ways that can go wrong, but critical hit certainly among them. So we are moving pretty quickly here, and we've got ourselves a 5-4 in the very early goings, not even half a dozen turns in. There is still the spike down, but Raikou is going to be met with a surprise toxic, sub-toxic Gengar. Little interesting there. Porygon 2, not traditionally a Raikou counter, but as it turns out, Mux went to Arrow, which Porygon 2 should probably fare pretty well against. That cannot possibly be a good trade for Mux. I mean, Thief on P2 is cute. It's good to get rid of its lefties, but is it worth getting your Arrow paralyzed and then killed? Kind of surprised that it's not CB Arrow, but the bitch of this format is when you know that the Arrow's there and when you're expecting that it's usually CB, the opponent can just load up on a bazillion protects and kind of neutralize that, but then there's the mind game. What if you just run non-CB Arrows, such as Sub Lychee? What if you just don't bring the Arrow at all? So on and so forth, but that is my justification and understanding as to why he may have opted to not bring what many people would consider obvious in the CB Arrow. But this is looking to be a quick game, and Pimmel is pretty far ahead. 15 turns in. He hasn't even revealed half his team. Now he reveals Celebi, and he's got a pretty comfortable lead here. Maybe Ludicolo with a crit or a freeze can punch through, but he better find it fast because he's on an ever-increasing clock from the toxic. Recover comes down. Celebi going to go back up to about 2/3. These Ice Beams aren't doing it. 43 at a time, especially in a sandless game, it's just not enough. Did have an opportunity there to get him with a crit, but doesn't find it, and he's now out of crit range yet again. Yeah, and he's just going to concede. This one was not all that close at all. Pimmel really laying the hammer down on Mux, and Mux was pretty confident, maybe even a little bit arrogant when I talked to him about his matchup in the Discord server, which you can join via link in the description, by the way. But he was pretty damn sure he was going to win the matchup and didn't appreciate some of my critique of his draft. But alas, for once I make justified comments. First time for everything. It is indeed Pimmel getting the W here, and that means that it's 2-0 for green over red in this draft. The third match will play out for the sake of trying to salvage something and get some points out of it for your team, but one way or another, green has already won this draft with the defeat of BGC and now ThisGuyMuks. So, well played for Pimmel. Wonder what his other two pokes were. Didn't end up actually showing it. We can only speculate. But yeah, pretty dominant for him. And green really rolling along, looking like one of the better teams in this. It's too early to really know, but Green has stood out to me in the early goings of this tour. Either way, appreciate you guys watching. Thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Always happy to hear your thoughts in the comments, and I will see you in the next video.